there we go. Let me, I just started recording. So thank you. Thank you. All right. Yeah. We'll go from there. Okay. Um, the, let me move this over. Hold on. Bam and bam. All right, so just a quick recap, and I'm gonna run through it pretty quick. The trades that I've taken this week, um, but it's gonna be very quick. All right. First things first is UCAD. Right, this darn thing really irritated me. So let me see if I still have it here. If I put it away, hold on. UCAD. Okay. Bear with me here. Let me open it up. So UCAD did give us a nice run. Okay, so hold on. Let me open it up from there. I did take a small little loss this morning on UCAD. I went to sleep, and I had an order limit on it, and it went up. It was up 4-1, and I obviously was asleep, so I couldn't go to break even. But it was the 15th. I'm not going to go through all these slides. I'm going to just show you what my thought process was, and then we'll go from there. Hold on. Give me 1 sec. Sorry. Yes. Okay, there we go. All right. So obviously to start the week off, I was looking for some reaccumulation. Obviously it just made sense for us to reaccumulate here. Let's fast forward to the entries that we caught. Hold on. Obviously I was just trying to walk this up, and where are we at? Let's see. Okay. Yeah. All right. So just real quick. So I was looking at playing off of this candle right here, and this is what it looked like. Right. So coming into the New York Open, I think on like Wednesday, I wanted to see accumulation in here, and obviously stop loss just below it. You could see the nice reaction we got off of that, and obviously I went to break even. That ended up breaking. All right, that ended up breaking even, and then we found a lower entry, right, off this 1 minute accumulation down here. It was really nice. You can see that's what the 5 minute candle looked like. And then coming into that 5 minute candle, that's how it looked. And bam, off to the races we went. So this was a type 3 reaccumulation schematic. Really nice impulse that we got. I would have really liked to have taken this high, because this is the high that maintained structure, right? This was a break below this low, and then this is the previous high. So if we could have broken above this is where I really wanted to take it to. Obviously some partials were taken, and then we came back down, and I was looking for a re-entry, and that's where I took the loss. All right. But the mitigation was really clean. You could see it. This is the 1 minute time frame. We did have that, equal lows. This was the schematic, the 1 minute schematic, equal lows. We came in, swept that liquidity, played off of the 1 minute candle that swept liquidity, and then off to the races we went. All right. So it was a pretty clean move. I mean, that's what it looked like on the 1 minute. At this point, at one point I was at 1 to 37. This was 36 pips at 1 to 24. All right. So it was a really nice move, but that was UCAD. And obviously this morning I took the small loss. It is what it is. No big deal. Did you take the trades outside? No. So those trades that I took, that was right at like New York Open. That was like at 8:06 actually, to begin, right at 8:06. Because when I sent out that chart, I literally got to my computer at 8 o'clock. I saw it real quick and threw it in the chat. I didn't even get to mark it up as clean as I normally do. And then right at 8:06 is when it hit. So 8:06 Eastern time. So that was UCAD. Now UCHEF is the one that I also took. And this is what she looked like, right? I'm just gonna run it through real quick for you guys. So we were obviously we were bearish, right? We were bearish here. We had this nice impulse that took us up, and then we started to retrace. All right, we started to retrace. So where I was looking, obviously you can see this was that reaccumulation right here, and I wanted to see us jump across the creek and then retest something into here, right? So the entry was actually right here during New York session, and I'll show you what the entry on the smaller time frame was. Okay, there it is. All right. So as we come in, and this is one of the things that I like to see, right? It's price compressing. So I don't like to see price falling. What I like to see is us falling and then start to compress, right? You can see, so this is a preliminary support. This is preliminary support. This is preliminary support. This is preliminary support. Ideally, this would have been a preliminary support, but then we finally get a break of structure. Do you see how we take out this high? So this is our first change of character, okay? And then from that, if I just pull it up, from that, we create our automatic rally. We come down and do a secondary test. We trade back up, come back, secondary test, a secondary test in phase B. We show that impulse that we would create an upthrust action. All right. And then coming down, and the spring happens right at, you can see the time, 9:04 a.m. Eastern time. All right. So we get that spring that takes out all of these lows. All right. Now, if you follow structure, and this is where key, right? Structure is extremely key. So this was our previous low, and we created a high. All right. Once we started walking down on the 1 minute, right? This is a low. This is our high. This is our low. This is our high. This is our low. That's our break of structure, right? So as soon as we get that confirmation of an evidence that the market wants to go higher, right? Wants to go higher, that is the confirmation. So in my case, what I did was it was just simple. This 1 minute candle is the volume candle that took liquidity, right? You could have played off the 2 minute, right? You could have incorporated that second candle if you wanted to do this, the 2 minute. But just this little move, right? I was okay with just taking it off the 1 minute. All right. But it was a really clean move. And then obviously you can see what happened after that, right? Price just immediately gave evidence of large money coming into the market. Okay. Hold on, bear with me. All right, sorry, I was getting a text. So yeah, it was off this 1 minute candle. You could see we come right back into it. We lingered for a little bit, but I'll tell you right now, if you have the seconds time frame on TradingView, you can go into this, and I guarantee, like on a 15 or 30-second time frame, this was a nice accumulation where you could have got where I had a 1.5 pip stop loss. You probably could have got less than a 1.5 pip stop loss. All right, and then obviously you could see we just took off, right? Where I was targeting, right? My first targets were these equal highs right here. All right. And then obviously these highs right here. Okay. So these areas right here is where I took partials. I really wasn't expecting us to keep going up, but I was okay with it, and then obviously where we're sitting right now, okay, this was that creek that we jumped, right? This was that creek that we jumped. And what I'm looking at for right now is this is obviously the 4-hour candle right here. Okay. You can see the 4-hour candle is technically the entire volume of this candle is the spring. And then you could see where buyers came into the market. Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't post it. It was one of those, I don't want people to just start taking every trade that I post, because then you're just going to take a lot of, you're going to take a lot of losses. You're going to get discouraged. Um, you want to build confidence. So I really only post the ones that I'm extremely confident on. And honestly, that US dollar Swiss franc happened so quick that, I mean, you saw it was on the 1 minute time frame, and as I think it was 4 minutes from the time I marked it up to the time the entry came. So yeah, unfortunately, I didn't throw that in, but yeah, we caught it. We were looking at it. Um, yeah, no worries, no worries, man, no worries. But yeah, so what I'm looking at now is obviously you can see this 4 hour candle. That's 50%. So that's my point of interest, right? That 50% mark is where I want to see us now trade back into, and you can see my little squigglies. Obviously, what I'm going to be looking for, I have my alert right here. Okay, during London, potentially, I would like to see us trade into it, and then same thing. I just want to see a 1 minute or a 5 minute schematic. All right, anywhere around here. Now, obviously, if we trade lower, fantastic. The only thing I don't want us to do is obviously trade below the low. Okay. So, if you're looking for like a potential POI, you just throw a fib on there and you can see that, where this 4 hour is, it lines up right where the 78.6 is. So I would say anywhere from the 71 to like the 88.6 is where I'd be looking. The 88.6 would be a complete imbalance fill. So, just mark it up, set your alert, and just watch it. I'm expecting this to happen, probably between like that pre New York into New York Open. Okay. Um, so just pay attention. Anywhere from like 5 a.m. Eastern to about 9 a.m. Eastern is when I want to get active into this trade. But just let it pull back, get on the lower time frame, wait for that schematic, and we'll be able to catch those really clean moves. I'll tell you right now, I like a lot of people don't like to trade US Swissy. I do. I have a lot of trades on it because they're very clean schematics. All right. Anytime you can get into a trade, anytime I can get into a trade on US dollar Swiss, I do it because they're very clean. All right. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at. All right. If you guys want, I will throw this in the chat so you guys can have my markup. But yeah, just wait for confirmations now, just so you guys have it, right? This and just to kind of give you an idea of what I was looking at. All right. You come down to the 1 minute chart. All right. And when US dollar Swiss, and I don't know if we still have the data for it. Hold on, let me see. Okay. You guys see this 1 minute candle right here, right? This 1 minute candle was literally the last extreme decisional candle before the market tanked. Okay. So now fast forward to where the market came back to at the start of the week, came right back into that 1 minute and dropped. All right. So this is going to be my first target. Okay. Because we're either going to do or die as far as continuing bullish momentum on US dollar Swiss franc. Okay. So that's going to be my first targets, right? And ideally, I would like to push through up to the nice whole number of 9,200. All right. If we can do that, that's ideally what I'm looking at. All right. But real simple, wait for some small time accumulation into this point of interest, anywhere from that 71 to the 88.6. And again, my main focus is 50% of that H4. All right. So obviously first targets. And I mean, realistically, I don't know if we're going to get up there, but you can see we have some clean equal highs here. And obviously these clean equal highs here. Okay. So that's where I'm looking to see if we can get up there. Of course, this is all dependent on what the heck the US dollar wants to do. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at. All right. Let's see. Hold on. You add what is UCAD? Yeah, I went over UCAD. I'll be honest. I'll show you. I'll kind of give you guys a point of interest where I'm looking. We already played into the 4 hour candle. Hold on, because we have already played into the 4 hour candle. If price produces a schematic after above that low, would you still be looking at it? What on US dollar Swiss franc? You talking about? Yeah. So anyway, ideally, I want to get the best price available. So time and price for me is big. Like if we start printing a schematic right now, I'm not taking it. All right. Wherever we are during that London crossover into New York, is where I'm going to start looking for the schematic. And as soon as I see a small time schematic, I'm just going to start trying to catch them. You know, it's just going to be that simple. Okay. Yeah. I understand we kind of, this already trade into the H4. But because we didn't break this high, if we look at structure, right, let's just follow with me here. We're coming down, right? We're walking structure down. So this is the new lower low. This is our new lower high. Our new lower low, right? This is all just noise. This becomes our new lower high. We then break structure, right? Or not break structure, but continue and make a new lower low. Now this is our new lower high. All right. So as long as we don't make a new high, I'm still willing to take anything in that imbalance, right? But now if we do take a new high, now this becomes our new lower low. Or I'm sorry, a new lower high because we've just made a break of structure to go bullish. All right. Does that kind of make sense? Everyone understand that? Perfect. All right. Yeah. So structure wise, that's what I'm going to be looking at. Have you found that London New York crossover is the golden? Yeah. So for me, absolutely. Yeah, I've been getting up. Well, I try to get up, but I like to get up around 4:30 my time. There's always a major move at London, but if you notice, if you go back and back test, whatever the London Open is, price is always going to move at New York session. It's always going to move above or below it in the opposite direction. All right. So there's always some little shenanigans that London does. So that's why I really don't get up pre-London. I just wait for that crossover and then I get into the trades during New York session. So but I will not get into a trade pre-London if it meets all my confirmations. Okay. Do you always identify higher time frame schematic or just the so if there's a higher time frame schematic, yeah, we'll take it all day. And I'll give you an idea. When we get to EA, I'll show you. All right. But yeah, so yeah, US dollar, Swiss franc, that's what I'm looking at. All right. The other one I'm looking at is, I think I'm done with this odd cat crap. Yeah, I am. Let me just go through this. Hold on. I just want to see where we're at. Nope. So this is one of the things I was looking at is AU, right? And I talked about on Saturday, the boot camp I did, whatever. I like after the up thrust for us to trade into 50% of the trading range, right? And you notice this up thrust didn't come to 50%. So that's already an X on AU's distribution that I'm looking at. All right. So I'm gonna play whatever price gives me. At this point, right? This would suffice as a UTAD, but I'm really not interested yet unless we really get some major confirmations to sell this off. Okay, you can see we reacted the UTAD or the upthrust reacted off the daily open. Um, so I would need some really, really strong. First of all, I would need a break of structure, right? Which I would need a break below here. And then I would need a really clean schematic from there to even contemplate selling this off the test. I still will if it meets my confirmations with the anticipation that this potentially could reaccumulate. And I'll hedge it, right? I'll sell into the buy. And then once I'm break even, I'll let the best man, ride. Okay. Um, is there any other pairs that have clean schematics? Yeah, I mean, I've got over 5,000 charts of clean schematics. So, I mean, yeah, pretty much every one of these here are trades that I've taken this year that have had, I don't know if you just want a screenshot and you can take, these are all the accumulations that I've taken this year. US dollar, you said, yeah, US, no, I mean, these are all clean schematics. If it's not clean, I don't trade it. Okay. Yeah, if it's not clean, I don't trade it. A good schematic coming down, you mean moving slowly to break structure, or it could be impulsive. Um, well, no, I want a clean schematic, right? I want something that looks like, if one of the things I'll tell people is if you got to start turning your head and selling yourself that you're building a schematic, then that's not clean, right? That's not something I'm looking at. Just to like here, let's see. I don't even know if I have a schematic in here. Let me see. What is this? No, I think this is just going to be a. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to them. I'll show you. Okay. But it's just got to be clean. It's got to have every point. It's got to have the agenda has to be clear of what price is doing, and then we can move on from there. Okay. I'm not trying to, like have, if the points aren't lining up, if the agenda is not lining up on what price is doing and the price action, then to me, it's not clean. I'll move on. All right. Like AU right now, like you can say it looks like distribution, but I don't have all the confirmations for it yet. It's honestly, we're still in bullish structure. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this 1 hour broke the low, but then we came right back up, and now we haven't broken any structure. We're still bullish on it. All right. Yeah, yeah, we'll talk about gold. I got that on there. All right. We're not talking BTC. CAD yen. CAD yen. So CAD yen, I was looking for accumulation down here. We obviously never came back to remitigate this. Yeah, yeah, no, no. This right here is long gone. This right here is long gone. And then you can see we had lower time frame reaccumulation in here. All right. This is clean reaccumulation. Obviously, by the time we saw it, I didn't get it. I didn't catch this. By the time we saw it, by the time we started marking it up, this happened right here. Bam. So it was gone. But you can see how we came into it, right? Preliminary supply, our buying climax. We right. That's our first change of character right here. Broke below this low, came up. Our secondary test, we traded down. This is still a weak secondary test. So to me, this gave me that indication that potentially we're not going to distribute out of this. That there's not enough interest to really distribute out. So we created our up thrust, created our creek, equal lows, our shakeout. We jumped our creek, right? Came back into whatever candle you wanted to do. I was actually looking at this 3-minute candle, 3-minute candle, and then off to the races we went. All right. But this was reaccumulation, and it's continuing up. So for me, this CAD-J is one of those that you print out, you journal, you say admire how pretty it was and how great of a trade that it could have been, and and then you move on. So it just sucks. Yeah, there's we're not coming down here, right? We're not coming down here. So it's one of those that's long gone. Now, the one I am looking at, and I know a lot of people give me grief over this, but Chef JPY has been fabulous to me lately. All right. Um, Real quick, we can look at it off the 30-minute. Um, can you repeat what you said about the ST? Yeah, yeah. So the ST, it was just a weak ST, right? Like when we traded up into it, let me just go back to it real quick. It was on this one here. So you can see, right? This was our automatic rally or automatic reaction. Um, we came in, and you can see this is a secondary test, but it was kind of weak. It's a lot of compression here, but we really, I mean, if you want to consider that the ST, obviously an up thrust is a secondary test. It's just a secondary test that exceeds the buying climax. Okay, um, but what the evidence that this was reaccumulating is the lack of interest to create any distribution. And then obviously we just nicely traded down this creek, created some liquidity, came up, FU'd it, and then immediately jumped the creek. That jump of the creek was the immediate confirmation. Okay. The fact that this was our minor sign of weakness and that we continued lower to create a shakeout was a good confirmation that we weren't going to distribute properly out of this. All right. Right. Yeah. There's not a lot. Yeah. There's no interest taking it down. Right. So there's more. Obviously, demand is in control of supply. All right. When you print out the schematics, do you print them out complete schematics or the screenshots before? Yeah. Yeah. No. I do a whole progression of them. Right. A whole progression of them from the very beginning. So like from the higher time frame point of interest to where price starts to create phase A. Like when I have a bona fide PSY, a BC, AR, and ST, that's a screenshot. Then as we're going through the progression, yeah, yeah, I have that's how I ultimately screenshot everything. Okay. Yeah, yeah. No, it is a lot of ink, but it's a write off, so it's all good. And then it'll be, yeah. I mean, you can see like on some of these that I'll have, um, I mean, just going off of, I mean, what was one, the UCAD trade, right? The UCAD trade from November 15th was all of these screenshots, right? Of me attempting to try to take it, break evens, higher time frame analysis, all that. So yeah, yeah. There's a lot that goes into it. All right. Anyway, going to Chef JPY, right? What I am looking on this, right? We beautiful accumulation, really nice, thorough mitigation, really nice price action that we got into it. This was a clean reaccumulation here. Um, the only thing that sucked about it was it never came to my entry, right? So like when we're looking at it, here we go. So when we looked at it, right, this was clean reaccumulation right here. All right. Um, support, right? Selling climax, AR, ST, right? Secondary tests. You could see how these secondary tests trade to at least 50% of the trading range, right? That's one of the one of the key things I like to see, right? Let's trade to at least 50% of the trading range. Our up thrust, UTAD, right? And then we just follow down this creek. This was our shakeout. And as soon as we jumped across, I wanted to see at least coming back, or we had a lot of inefficient price action here. I was targeting maybe this 5-minute candle. But we never returned back to it. So that was honestly a shame. Um, but for right now, what I'm looking at, you can see when price did return, we returned to 50% of this 30-minute candle. Okay. So obviously this is our new low, right? We've just been walking this up, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So this is the previous higher low. What I'm looking for is in this 5-minute candle, right? If you just look at this 5-minute, you could see how clean price is just walking itself up. Okay, very clean. This is that last 5-minute down candle. All right, before we really got an impulse and the market just took away. Um, there's some imbalance in there. So what I personally want to see is as we trade back into there, I want to see a really nice 1-minute accumulation schematic print out in here so that I can take this up. Okay, and where I want to take this to, I want to take it. I want to try to target these up here, right? Like 115, like 400 is where I want to look. Um, obviously, if we don't get all the way up there, a key area I'm going to be looking for is the 115 hold number, right? That's where this wick is sitting. There's a point of interest that this wick came in to mitigate out of. So I want to try and target that 115. But with CJ, I mean, you can catch these really nice moves with small stop losses. Like this was a 1 to 19 off of a 2-pip stop loss, right? This was a 1 to 25 off a 1.5-pip stop loss. Okay. They're very clean. You can go back and back test this. How they mitigated out was perfect. All right. Was perfect. So that's what I'm looking for on Chef JPY. All right. I don't trade this a lot. It's not like one of my favorite pairs, but we caught the bottom right here, and I just want to keep walking this up. It's in market cycle, right? You can see how Chef JPY comes down, accumulates, reaccumulates. There wasn't really any distribution in there, but you can see how just even it just transfers itself down. Okay. We can just see how that market very evenly trades down. Now we caught the accumulation. I just want to keep riding it up. All right. So for like swing trading, I mean, even though this doesn't do a lot of pips, if you can get in on a 1 or 2-pip stop loss, that's golden. All right. So I'm looking, I'll send this out too. This is where I'm looking. Bam. All right. What was the other one I was looking at? All right. So this is an example of higher time frame schematic. All right. Last week, right? I started noticing that we were in a pretty decent accumulation schematic. I wanted to see distribution in here. It gave me nothing. Right. Then we came down and I wanted to see accumulation. It gave me nothing. So we are in a really good area to see some accumulation. All right. Whether we keep trading down, as far as I know, I don't have really any points of interest. I can go back. There's a weekly candle that I want to see, but that weekly candle is down like near 1.6400. I really don't want us to trade that far down. All right. So what I'd be looking for is any lower time frame accumulation to try to just walk this sucker up. All right. My targets, if we can grab that small time frame accumulation, my very first targets, if this is to be the secondary test in phase B, is at least 50% of the trading range, right? That would be 50% of the trading range. And that honestly lines up with this 15-minute candle right there. Okay. So that's going to be kind of where I want to target my very first targets. Obviously, we can go a little higher, but from where price is currently, I mean, that's 100 pips. All right. So, I'll take 100 pips on a 4 or 5 pip stop loss on EA any day. All right. Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I was really discouraged, right, when we started the week up here, and it did this crap, because I really wanted to sell it down. It's frustrating, especially when you can see the schematic on the higher time frame, but it's not giving you those entries. All right. So I'm just going to be monitoring it. Obviously, any small time accumulation I can see, I'm going to be looking. You know, hey Victor, I know you're on. Do you have a point of interest or a point of reference that we potentially could see a move on EA?
No, I don't have EA marked up. It's not on my watch list.
Oh, come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah,
It's a
it's not. Sorry,
put it.
dude.
Go listen. Let's get rid of ECAD and put EA on.
Yeah, I want to get rid of ECAD.
Yeah, here we're
Hey,
here, let's talk about ECAD. Hold on, real quick. Let's talk about
well,
ECAD. So
on EA though, if
yeah,
you just
go,
super
hold on.
quickly go back 1 second,
Yeah, go ahead,
I
bro.
just see it right now. Okay, so that last push down was a distribution, and you can pretty much clearly see it. That
Here?
broke, no, down
Oh,
below.
this one. This
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, no,
yeah.
it was. It
So
was
I would potentially look for some sells from that point of interest to go in for this, to go and
the
catch the
spring.
spring
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Yeah,
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 no, I agree. I agree. I saw it. I marked it up on one of these stupid charts. It was, let's see, right here. Um, yeah, and that's honestly why that I think it's what did I say, the 15 minute. The 15 minute would be ideally an area I would like
yeah,
to try to sell from.
yeah,
So that's why
yeah,
if I can catch the buy up and we can work a hedge, that'd be a good hedge. 100
yeah,
pips
yeah.
up, 100
That's
pips up, 120 pips down.
That's what I'm thinking too. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
hedge it from this point, from
yeah.
this area here.
Yeah. So if you guys don't understand like what we're talking about, this is how you really this is one how you protect your trades and how and it's something that I've really worked on, right? So hypothetically, if we come in here, catch an accumulation, right? So we buy it here, we're obviously at break even. We come into this sell, right? This is our point of interest. Whether we see a break of structure on smaller time frame, or ideally it'd be awesome if we see distribution from here, right? The UTAD test. So now we get into this cell here. Once this gets to break even, right? You're still in this buy. You can take now a good chunk of your buy off because it's protected off of the break even of the cell. And now you just caught, say, 100 pips up. You can catch the 100 pips or 120 pips down. And when we get into the spring, right, say price springs down here, all right, and we go ahead and get into this buy. If this buy fails, we're still in the sell and we cover our loss on this buy. All right. And obviously, if we catch the buy and we're at break even, now we can close out our sell for whatever profit we were at and now take this rally all the way up. Okay. So yeah, I know it's a little confusing. It's a little more technical. I'll tell you right now, like I didn't know how to do half of that stuff, you know, 3 months ago. All right. So I've just really been working on it, and it's honestly helped tremendously. I know a lot of you guys are in the Discord group. You hear me say it all the time how, yeah, I'm gonna work a hedge into that or a hedge into this one. So all right. But yeah, so EA, I mean, ideally I want to catch the buy, and where this 15-minute candle is my point of interest. Um, that's what potentially where I'm going to sell it. All right. So yeah, that's EA. ECAD. So ECAD, this is what I was looking hopefully to see for this week. Obviously, you could see we took these equal lows. At this point, man, we're just sideways. We are just sideways. There's two ways you can look at ECAD, right? This was a potential distribution that is not looking like distribution now, right? This was the original distribution that we were up here. At this point, we're like in no man's land, right? I either want to buy from down here or I want to sell from up here. Okay. Um, this chart here kind of gives a better direction, right? We have this candle up here on the 10-minute that I ideally would like to see distribution from, or we have this sell to buy candle that I would like to see some buys from. All right. But we've obviously just ranged for, you know, almost 2 weeks in 115 pip range. All right. So to me, this is just frustrating because if you do catch a sell, it's just like EU did. Catch a sell, you take some profits, it's just going to come right back and take you out at break even. All right. When you say take a big chunk, how many percentage are we talking? You know what? I'll be honest. So like when I'm at break even, if I'm hedging, if I'm going to sell and I get into a buy and that buy goes to break even, if that buy is protected, the minute it goes to break even, I close out the remaining sell. All right. As soon as the buy is in profit. If it's not in profit at the point of interest, what I do is I close 50% of my trade. All right. So hypothetically, if I was looking to buy off of this and I'm in the sell, once I get to the point of interest, I'm going to close 50. Like if I come into this candle, I'm going to close 50% of my position. I'm going to let it run. If I get stopped out of here, I'm just going to make it up on the sell. If this comes up and I can get to a break even, then I'm going to close the entire sell off and let the buy ride. Okay. Because the way I'm looking at it, the hedge is just to protect the stop loss. It's not to like make extra money, make extra pips. You know, my bias is the buy. I just wanted to catch the sell into the buy. All right. Um, yeah. ECAD. I really don't want to talk more about ECAD, you know. Yeah. Victor, you had something on it or no?
I do.
Here, hold on. Which one did you want to look at? Like this one here or
Um, yeah, hold on. I'm trying to. Okay, what you're on the 1 hour chart?
Mhm.
Okay, so the way I'm looking at it is like this. I'm going to try to annotate on your screen. Okay, so what I'm seeing is I'm seeing these three thrusts up.
Yep.
And I am seeing potentially now. Once again, just I'm being creative here, but this could be a selling climax, secondary test, and then we have our UT, or I'm sorry, our UT. You know how I do.
Yeah.
STB. We have our secondary test in phase B, which broke the 50% of the range. And once again, we can do two ranges here because selling climax could be at this point here, or it could be at the first point but anyways, we broke the 50.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking for where the spring is. Now, if this spring becomes valid, we are in a reaccumulation.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's the creek, jump over, and then this area, this accumulation area becomes our point of interest to take the test and take it up. That's what I'm looking at.
Absolutely. Thus the reason the accumulation box was there. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what I was looking at. I was actually looking at it today during New York session for it. But you can see like on the smaller time frame, this was this actually didn't happen. This is that stupid FXCM crap. Hold on. Let me go to a different feed. Yeah, you notice how that didn't happen on any other feed. So yeah, we started to accumulate now, right? This is actually accumulation now. But during New York session, you can just see how we just kept making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Yeah. So it sucks that this is happening. I mean, obviously you can see no volume, right? There's no volume in this. You know, this is just 3-4 pip ranges, you know.
Yeah, no, there's no play in.
Yeah. There's no interest. No interest.
But let's see if we can break the creek, and then if we can jump over the creek, and then we can get back over that previous point in structure, which I'm gonna say is.
Hold on. Let me go to this one here.
Yeah.
Give me a sec here. Let's so hold on. Let me clean it up. Oh.
You know what I'll do? I'll because I have a clean chart on it, I can share.
Yeah,
and I have an extreme. I have an extreme that I'm looking for to potentially buy from as well.
We're down here.
Yeah, I'll show you. Hold on. I'll share the chart. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna zoom in on it so everybody could see what I'm looking at. Hold on. All right, here I'll share it in the.
It's got to be off that 15, right? Is it off the 1 minute inside that 15?
No, I was actually. I want this spring to come lower, and I'll show you what I'm
even
talking
lower
about.
than here. Okay.
Yeah, I do. Because given the price action that we're seeing right now, I think it could make another thrust down. Oh, hold on. Where's the chat? How do I get into the? Oh yeah, I have to go back to the screen. Okay, here we go. So here, sorry
Yeah,
guys, give me a second. Wasting time here. Okay, here we go.
you got it. All right. So hold on. Let me just see.
Yeah, can you guys see it?
I'll just pull it up here, man.
Yeah. All right, cool.
In here is where you're looking. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking. I'm
That's-
looking because this is what broke the structure to the upside.
I got you. Yeah. So inside of that wick
Yeah,
is
inside
ideally
of
the
that
extreme.
way. Yeah, that's the extreme. That's right. Because it's a bit of there's on a smaller time frame, there's a reaccumulation in there, and you know how I like to take them off reaccumulations or
Yep. Yeah.
yeah, that
Okay.
kind of yeah. So inside that wick would be the extreme, and that's a 2-hour candle. That's the best candle that I could find that matches what we would be looking for.
I think. Oh, hold on. Son of a gun. Hold on. There we go. All right. Yeah. I like. All right. So yeah, Victor dropped his chart in there. Definitely, I would pull it up, and you know, that's ideally what we're looking at. And for the creek, it's pretty simple, right? The creek is simply that.
Yeah.
And we want to see price. Ideally, what I would like to see in a perfect world, right? Because structure wise, this is the lower high that's maintaining the structure right now.
Yeah.
I would like to see us break that high and then come back and find some small time accumulation to take this higher. Okay.
Yeah,
if you guys, if that makes sense to you guys, you know, if it doesn't make sense, let me know and we'll try to explain it a little better. But ideally, you know, and we don't have to move, you know, I don't want to see the jump right now. Like we were talking about, there's a, you know, an extreme candle. I guess it's like off the 1 minute, but it's in that wick that we want to see if price is going to come back there to mitigate out. That would create our shakeout, right? This move right here would be our shakeout. And then we want to see the evidence of buying coming in to jump the creek, obviously come back to mitigate out of whatever, you know, that sell to buy that they did. And then obviously we'll take it up from there. All right. But hopefully that makes sense. All right. So if you're going to mark it up, just throw your creek on there. I mean, you just line up your trend line and just wait. You know, ideally what I would do is just put an alert on your trend line, you know, and you'll get the alert once it jumps the creek. Okay. And that I'll tell you right now, you know what, since this is EA, that lines up with GA. Did you look at GA yet?
Hold on. I got to pull it up.
Let me show you. Look at it first, but this is how I see it. Stupid fly, man. This is how I see it right here.
Okay. I have something on GA. Give me a second. It's loading. Oh man, I shared the chart on GA in the group yesterday. There's a couple of, yeah, go ahead. Okay. I think I shared it with you as well.
I don't know if I saw your GA yet, but
I'm pretty sure I sent it to you. I sent it to the group.
Because I've had this for a while, looking at it like this, and obviously distribution was weak, right? We didn't get a really nice distribution.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to have, because I would have liked to have at least positioned in a sell to come down. But yeah. So I'm looking for the shakeout, and then I'm looking for us to obviously jump our creek, come back to mitigate whatever, you know. Obviously we won't know what we're going to mitigate out of until it happens. But I'm looking for reaccumulation. All right. Ideally, I'm looking for us to shake out into something in here. Okay. Because obviously these two candles right here, you know, this 2-hour candle right in there is the last point, you know, where price came back to mitigate out before we took off. And it's not really equal lows. This did drop a little below it. You know, so I'm not confident that this is equal lows, you know.
So interesting. Going to the 4-hour chart, I want to show you something. It's interesting because I think you have the same point of interest as I do. Man, I'm telling you, I sent you my chart. I don't know why you didn't.
I don't know, bro. You sent it in Telegram?
Hold on, GA, and zoom out a bit. Like, let me see the larger picture. And yeah. Okay. Okay, so what I saw in GA, so okay, this is interesting, right? So here's where I see a reaccumulation on GA, but I see it from here. I see it like,
oh, the bigger. I see. I got you.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the much larger picture here.
Right. That's the
so
creek.
well, I'm actually putting the creek here, and I had it because at this point, because I'm looking at the larger accumulation. So I
Uh-huh.
was looking at these 2 points here, and funny enough, we came and we tapped just above it. And now what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a 4 hour candle. Hold on, I got to look at my chart because there's too many lines here.
Well,
Uh,
I'll tell you right now, just looking at it, it makes sense because look, we had liquidity here. This was took liquidity, right? We came up. This was the mitigation out of that sell to buy.
yeah, well, that
So
was the test, right?
yeah, so we need to
Yeah,
look in here. We need to
that's
look in
that's
here.
exactly where I'm looking. So I'm
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
inside that test.
I got you.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
I gotcha. Okay. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
real quick. So shakeout, when we say shakeout, just
Sorry.
think
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
a spring or a UTAD for the schematic, right? So on reaccumulation, the shakeout is going to be, the spring of the accumulation part. And on like a redistribution, it's going to be the up thrust after distribution, the UTAD going up, that takes out and then breaks through the ice. Okay, so if that makes sense, you know, I hope that makes sense. But yeah, well, you just want to, yeah, yeah. It's the shake. All it is a spring, right? Just think of it.
So can I try to
Yeah,
explain
yeah.
it
Go ahead.
okay. So a reaccumulation is a two-part schematic. What starts as a distribution or a redistribution. So in a reaccumulation, it would start as a distribution, and then it would turn into an accumulation. So what you want to be looking for, I mean, not every time, but what you want to be looking for is you want to see a distribution start, and then that distribution needs to start tapering off and starting look like an accumulation. And if you can train your eyes to look for those two, then you're going to have a much more success finding those types of schematics inside the chart.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. So real quick for whoever was about the scenario. So off the higher right, higher time frame schematics always take precedent, right? If you can get a schematic on a weekly chart, that is going to be so much more powerful than a schematic on a 1 minute chart, right?
Yeah.
So on the 4 hour chart, what we were talking about, and I honestly didn't even see it, right? What we're talking about is this entire thing here is potentially a reaccumulation, right? This would be our preliminary supply. Okay, this is, as we're just going up, these are all of our points. Okay, this is going to be our up thrust after distribution, our test as we trade down, and then you can clearly see, right? We had liquidity here. That this was ultimately our shakeout, right? This was our shakeout. And I mean, I know Victor's doing the creek like this. You can also, like me personally, you can also do a creek like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this tested out, right? This price action here tested out of whatever this sell to buy was. Now this is what's left in drawdown. So regardless of how you want to draw it, it still ends up in the same spot, right? We're expecting price to come in to this point of interest now, right? Somewhere, obviously we have imbalance, but somewhere in this wick, that candle right there is where we're looking. Okay. Um,
Also, it has to make sense, right? So what are
yeah,
we looking
logic.
at? We have these equal highs, but they're also structure. So if you guys think about it, this was a higher high that led to a higher low that led to a break of structure. So now, if you're thinking about it logically, well, what's going to happen next? Well, next we're supposed to come make a retracement and then make a next higher high. So there's going to be a higher low and a higher high. And when the question of where do we trade or how do we catch that move, well, this is where we start looking for what price action is doing. In this case, sweep of equal lows, fu candle, structure, higher low, break a structure again. Like, it could be a lot simpler than that. And so what are we going to logically do? Well, if we're starting to create bullish order flow, then we're going to come to our previous higher low, we're going to test it, and we're going to come back and make a next higher high. And we're going to continue doing that and continue walking up. So yeah, that's just a very, I guess, just so the chart is understandable for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, no, and it's stuff like this. I'll tell you right now, stuff like this takes it takes a little bit to really grasp and understand, but once you get it, you'll definitely understand it tremendously. All right. So like for me on GA, where we're currently at, right? Even in this structure here, where we're currently at, I'm personally not going to do anything until we jump across this creek. So whether we come, and this is the point of interest that we were looking at on the 4 hour, whether we come into this candle or come down into this wick, right? Wherever we come into, I don't care. I'm just going to let it shake out. And then I'm just waiting, for us to, I can extend this creek as far as I want. I'm just waiting for, after that shakeout, the break of structure. So in this case, it'll be that, right? But if we come up here, say we do something like this, right? Now this is the structure point. Okay. So I just wait for that break of structure and the jump across the creek to find our entry. All right. Hold on. On the area you're looking at entry on the 5 minute, there's a major sell-off. It's over 40 pips. How much would you want to see mitigation candle into it? Honestly, I don't care how much of that candle gets mitigated because I'm not taking the entry off the point of interest, right? I'll be honest, like, so on GA on a 1 hour, let's just say hypothetically, the mitigation is into this 1 hour candle, right? All I'm going to be looking for is on a 1 or a 5 minute, bam, and I'm buying right there. Okay. And obviously I'll position myself in. And then when we jump the creek and we come back into whatever we need to mitigate out of, guess what? I'm going to be buying off of that as well. Okay. If that makes sense, that's how you play it. We're on a higher, not a higher time frame, but we're on a 1 hour. We just wait to see that evidence, that price wants to make itself go higher. Obviously it has to be in a logical area, right? I'm not looking for an accumulation here. Okay. I'm not. I'm going to be looking when we get down into this right here. All right. Whether it's at the bottom of the wick off of 1 minute. Okay. Or it's this 1 hour. I don't care. Literally, it's just check the charts. I'm going to go on there and check the chart, and it has to be in a logical area. Okay. Perfect. Would you say GA is in distro on the daily? I don't know. Hold on. Let me see on a chart that is clean. Distro on the daily.
Mike, I got this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got this because I have it marked up. Yeah, I have it all marked up. Okay, so it's and I see you corrected it. It is an accumulation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at my chart, and you know what? I'll just drop it in the chat. Hold on.
No, I see it right there.
Yeah.
Now I'll be honest with you. So yes, I agree. And if you guys know, like, you want correlating pairs, right? So a correlating pair to the odd is also the NZD. In my opinion, I think GN is a cleaner accumulation than GA. And it's only because I've looked at GN. I haven't looked at GA on the 4 hour or the daily. Let me just look. You dropped your chart, right?
Hold on, I'm dropping it right now. It's this Zoom thing. Give me a sec.
Here, while you're looking, yeah, let me go to
Here's the chart.
Let me see it.
Paste. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So here was our spring. Oh, hold on. Here was our spring, and this was our break of structure.
Yeah.
Right. So that was our break of structure.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it makes sense, right? It makes sense for us to go higher. Like one of the things I talk about is market cycles, right? So, obviously in the market cycle, right? Obviously this was some horrible distribution, the whole Brexit thing and everything in there, but that was obviously distribution. All right. We came in and we've accumulated. So it makes sense for us to go up.
I think if you go on the weekly too, so if you just take the weekly chart, because it's all fractal, right?
Yep.
So the way I'm looking at it, if you go on the weekly and just zoom into this last, a little bit of price action. Look, it's really simple. We are here. We are at the last, we are basically trading where that higher high that got made got its thrust from, which is in here, right? This is the range. So we've come back to test the range again. Whether we come and make a higher high, this is a weekly chart, it doesn't matter. But if we catch this move up to, let's say, even this candle here, I mean,
That's a
I
big
didn't even
payday.
I didn't even know how many pips that is, but this is probably like 700, 1,000 pips. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a big day.
It's huge.
Yeah, that's a big day. So, but yeah, that's GA. And if you look, so like GN is the same exact thing. And I just happened because I was looking at GN on one of the go lives today. GA is obviously on the, well, not the weekly, but hold on. There is, you can see clean accumulation here on GN. What's that?
I'm just reading Lambo Target. Stuff like that makes me
Yeah.
laugh.
So
Yeah.
that's GN on the 4 hour, right? Now, I'm not 100% convinced this is the spring, right? I'm not. In all actuality, this could just be that, and we could just move this over like that. Okay. Come on. Stop. There we go. All right. So this is up. This is very subjective, right? If this is the spring or not. I personally don't think it is, because I would have liked to have seen a spring and then immediately us go. So I think this is going to be our secondary test.
There's also they're massive, like massive equal lows right below
Hold on.
on the daily and the, like, I have a daily point of interest. You just go to the daily and you'll see it. It's so blatantly obvious. You could see those equal
Talking about
lows
these right
resting.
here. Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see it where you're looking. So yeah, and then
Yeah.
there's a daily candle right in there, and it just.
Oh yeah. Look at that. See the daily candle right here, guys. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's what we're looking at right here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, when I want to see a spring, like I don't believe that this is the spring, right? I think it's our secondary test in phase B. I think we're going to get one more push, and I mean, just think about it, right? So this candle right here was 159 pips. Okay. So if we can get 159 pip candle, all right. Yeah, we'll just make it yellow. 159 pip candle to spring, right? That's going to be our spring, which is going to come either right and clear out those equal lows, or even trade in to that daily candle, and then obviously we'll get that movement up. But that's how I'm looking at GN right now. All right.
and
Yeah. Springs are always high volume, because remember, it's not a small amount of money that is pushing it down to spring. It's an institution that needs to fill their orders, right? So they need to put a significant amount of order flow to push the market down against. Think about it, right? There's support. What an accumulation is just support. It's a support level, right? A lot of buying is coming in, a lot of buying is. So they need to counter that by pushing the market lower. There has to be a huge amount of order flow to cause that to come down, and then they immediately turn around and buy it back up. All right. And the reason that, that's why, when you're looking at like relative strength comparison, stuff like that, that's why you see that drop off, is because after the buys have come in, then they have to slowly, and that's where you see the drop off in volume and everything, for them to come back to test out of that and mitigate that candle. All right. I'm really confused with this also. Looked like accumulation to you on what this? You thought this was accumulation?
what
Okay.
is this?
It's gold. Okay. So let me ask you this, right? Let me ask you this. So first of all, like this is all kind of like marked different. It's not properly marked, right? So this started off as accumulation, right? So this could have been your selling climax, your automatic reaction, your secondary test, up thrust action, right? Secondary test. All right. Now you would have waited for the spring. If this was your spring, right? Which ideally it was your spring, you need to wait for price to show that it has that willingness to go up, whether it's a break of structure, something. In my case, it's a break of structure that I want to see. This never did. So what this is considered is a failed accumulation. So they attempted to, right? They attempted to accumulate, and ultimately it turned into redistribution. I personally, it never gave an entry, because if it was redistribution, that's your ice. You fell through the ice, but in my opinion, it never came back to mitigate anything out of, if that makes sense. Um,
It also doesn't make sense to put a buyer's climax from selling. Like
yeah,
if
yeah,
you're coming down, like
yeah, yeah.
why would you start with a buyer's climax? You're not buying up, you're
No, no,
selling
yeah, yeah,
down.
yeah. It was just, yeah, it was just. I mean, the marking you have isn't just right. I mean, it's not right, but yeah, yeah. It's you just have to understand. One is, does it make sense? Like, was this anywhere near a point of interest, right? If it's not near a point of interest where you're expecting a reaction, then of course it's going to be a failed accumulation. Do you find that many springs come back and create a break of structure and then fail at a test stage? Not very
It
often.
does.
I mean, not well, yeah, but not very often.
So
If
it'll
it's a break of structure.
it'll test
Hmm.
always, but what is it going to test the extreme?
Oh yeah, okay,
That's
okay,
the question.
right. So let me I'll rephrase it. So uh, they will come and come back and test, right? So let's say hypothetically on this goal chart, this is your spring, and you do get the break of structure, right? It will come back to test, and you will get a reaction off of it, right? So for me, it's enough for me to at least go to break even. So you will get a potential reaction, and then if it fails to accumulate properly, you'll just see it drop. But there will be enough out of that test. You'll see at least a bounce, right? You'll get the bounce to at least get to break even on charts. All right. But yeah, I mean, they can. You know what? It comes down to just understanding supply and demand. You can want. I'm big Chase Bank, and I'm trying to put $100 billion into this order to take it higher. I can want to do this all day long, but at the end of the day, if I don't have, you know, help from other institutions, or a large amount of order flow from big hedge funds or something like that to take this higher, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to take this higher. So unlike us, the institution can just leave this in drawdown, and that's why they're doing this, right? That's why the institution is buying and selling, right? This is all moves by that same institution hedging their positions open and close. And if they fail to distribute, how they protect themselves is they're still active in the cells from here. So they're still holding the sell positions even though they fail to distribute. Because the whole point of breaking structure to come back to test out of the spring is they're hedging, closing out the sell position that sell to buy. They're closing that out to take it higher. If that makes sense. All right. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, good. All right, hold on. Beautiful. I just wanted to know if you've seen it often failing at a test stage once everything else is ticked the box. Yeah, I mean they do. Listen, it's not 100%, right? I mean, nothing's 100%. Um, I mean they ultimately they can, and I've seen them happen. Listen, I've had trades that I thought were the perfect trades in the world that had every checkbox marked, and it just didn't work out. Like it ended up hitting my stop loss. So, honestly, on those, like I'll dive into it and see. Um, I can tell you that the biggest culprit of me taking a loss on something that was perfect like that is higher time frame bias and structure. Like at the end of the day, we were overall bearish, and I was trying to buy it, and the bears were still in control. All right. Um, Okay, I'll take a look at this. I had this earlier, but I stopped out. It's hovering around an hour in the area where I marked the springs. Okay, we'll take a look at it, man. All right, so real quick on gold, I'll look at gold, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, when was this? This October? Oh, this was October. Yeah, yeah, no, no, this, yeah. We, I've been looking for sells. I actually caught a really really nice distribution. The only thing that sucked, I was looking small time distribution in here. I mean, you can kind of see it playing out, but ideally I wanted this and then sell it from there. Right. And we never got that. Like the bastards never gave me an entry in there.
It is
Um,
gold.
yeah, I know. But I'll tell you where there's really nice, where there was really nice distribution was it here? I caught a really nice on the 30 minute. I think it was there. Um, I'll have to look. I caught a really nice 30-minute in there. But yeah, so yeah, gold has been distributing. Absolutely. You know, and what is this? This is UCAD. Yeah. You and everybody else, man. You and everybody else. Yeah, we were trying this as well. Now, I'll tell you right
This
now,
no, that wasn't the spring though.
yeah, no, this wasn't the spring. Yeah, look here. Let's pull up the UCAD chart. I don't know if I still have it.
Do you want to finish with GN first and then UCAD?
Yeah. Let's do that, bro.
Because there's
I'm
something
doing
I've been wanting to say on GN, but I've
all right. Hold on. Here we go. GN. All right.
okay, just go to the 4 hour.
Okay.
It's just so everybody understands what the plan. Okay, so number one, GN overall is bearish, and people need to understand that. And number two, you don't have to mark it up to see it. This was a distribution that is causing this push down, right? Now, here's the thing on GN. GN, we can clearly see equal lows right here, right? And it's coming and it's making those equal lows. So what we want to see, even if this accumulation that is being printed right now on the chart works out, we're not really looking to take it much higher than here because of the equal lows that are down here. So this would be a short-lived accumulation for the buy to try and then sell down for the liquidity sweep, which would be the bigger move.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so important to understand where you are inside the chart and what the plan is.
Yeah. And just all right. So let me just add this to it. Right. So hypothetically, and this is what you have to think about, right? You can obviously see we distributed here, right? So
And
would it be out of character, right? Would it be out of market cycle for us to accumulate, right? We get our spring, we go ahead, break structure, test out of the spring, come up, right? Create a shakeout, all right? Create a shakeout. And then what happens when we break through the ice? What does this accumulation turn into?
redistribution.
Right? It turns into redistribution. Okay. And if it's in an area that we are attempting to sell from, that's where understanding how to hedge is extremely important. But understanding that, yes, this is accumulation, but it can easily turn into reaccumulation once we get into phase D and E, okay, of the schematic. So you trade it. What you see. Like I can't go into this with the pre-notion that this is going to be redistribution. I'm going to go in it with its accumulation. I'm going to trade the accumulation. And when I see the evidence of redistribution, I'm going to trade the redistribution because, like Victor said, right, we're bearish, right? We are bearish. We also have to understand where we are in the market cycle. Okay. Where we're at right now, I'm not looking for distribution, right? I'm either looking for accumulation or when we get to it, possibly redistribution. I will never look for distribution here. Right. Just like up here, I'm not looking for accumulation. I'll either look for reaccumulation or I'm going to look for distribution. Right. And that's the key. That's what you have to understand is where you are in the market cycles in relation to what price is currently doing. All right. But yeah, don't be surprised, right? Don't be surprised if this does turn into redistribution because the agenda, you have to think, what is the agenda? What are they trying to do? Well, we have clear equal lows and we have a candle that they're still in drawdown on. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you done with GN?
Yeah, that's all I wanted
All right.
to add.
Do all redistros and reaccumulations have shakeouts, then a jump across the creek? So yes and no. The shakeout is just going to grab, is going to induce buyers and sellers. So the shakeout doesn't necessarily have to be a spring, right? You can technically let's just say hypothetically, like you had a trend line that you had a ascending wedge schematic, right? Because there's multiple schematics, but let's just say you had an ascending wedge schematic. The shakeout wouldn't necessarily have to take out the lows. It would just need to take out, if we had a bunch of liquidity on the trend line, take out the trend line. Okay, so you just have to ask yourself, where's the money, right? Where is all the money sitting that they need to take so that they can get their orders filled? All right.
Interesting. Here, look, if you look here, so here's your wedge, right?
Yep.
But you guys can, and then you
Oh,
have this
perfect.
trend line,
Yeah, there you
right?
go.
Okay,
Perfect.
look. So you have thrust one, thrust two, thrust three. Here we go. Trend line traders are out, continuation up.
Yeah.
Right? Here's your, like, this is the perfect example of what a shakeout could be. Now, this isn't pretty schematic or not something that I would necessarily be, gung-ho for playing, but it's a perfect example of how all these retail traders just get trapped and then screwed out of their positions to only see, and then they're like, oh my God, I missed the move.
Yeah, I mean, and just think, I mean, this honestly is, it's funny that we caught this, but when you think about it, right? Like, would you think it was a shakeout because we created equal lows? But realistically, it is, right? It is. This is the wedge schematic, right? It's a distribution of a ascending wedge, and when you think about it, what did this shakeout accomplish? Anybody that's a trendline trader was buying here and just got clapped. Anybody that was trading the break of the trend line, right? Okay, sure. I mean, this is a huge amount of pips, but in swing trading or people taking long positions, right, for multiple weeks,
Yeah.
guess what? They probably at anything got a break even, or they didn't move their stop loss and got clapped, right? Anybody that was doing the whole break and retest of the trend line, guess what? Got jammed up on that. So it definitely enticed a lot of buyers and sellers to lose on both ends, whether you were buying or you were selling. All right. So that's what you have to think about. You have to look at it, and that's why a lot of people, it's actually an advantage if you learned retail trading strategies prior to coming to Wyckoff and coming to Smart Money,
Yeah.
because you almost need to know how to trade like a retail trader in order to be profitable in this, right? Because someone who's, like if I taught my 8-year-old son right now about Wyckoff and stuff, and he couldn't visualize or understand the concept of this trend line with this wedge and then the break of the trend line, right? That it's going to be difficult for him to understand that that's where the money's at. But for people like us that used to trade the break of the trend line, I know I can feel, I can feel the money leaving my bank account, right? On this move right here. I can feel it. So I understand it. All right. Okay. Yeah. So that's GN, so like I said, this is on a 4 hour. So this is not something that's going to happen tonight, right? This is something that's probably going to come through potentially into like December, maybe even, an entry potentially off of this 4 hour won't even happen until the new year. Okay. 100% told me my friend to go through baby to understand how you shouldn't trade. And yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, you almost need to, right? You almost need to know these retail concepts. All right. So real quick, just to recap on UCAD, like I don't want to beat it to death, but where you were looking, um, oh, you know what? I think I took my markings off. Here, hold on. All right, hold on. Let me, yeah, because I already changed my markings on it. So I want to say it was at the bottom. So when you're looking here, right? When you were looking here for this move, okay, the first question I'll say is this, right? Why, and I understand you think this is the spring, absolutely, right? Absolutely. Um, but in all actuality, when you look at it, okay, this here didn't accomplish anything as far as a secondary test in phase B, right? For the reaccumulation part. Um, I mean, there was a play in here. I'll tell you right now, there was a play in here, but it wasn't up here, right? It wasn't up here. And I'll show you where the play was.
And
It was,
another
yeah, go ahead.
So another thing, when you're confirming a spring without a secondary test in phase B, make sure it breaks the structure that caused it. Okay, which in this case is here. So if this was the cause to the spring, the only way that I would validate it in my book would be is once we were to break this structure. So we have to come up here, not 50%, none of this stuff, right? Break structure, and only then would I consider looking for positions from an extreme or a decisional test.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Because if you look and remember the key to this is structure, right? If we look at it, right, we'll just call this is our high, all right? And as we walk down, right, so this is our next low, our high, we made a new low, right? We made a new low. We broke up, okay? But then this is our lower high, and we just stayed in the range. So this here is the impulse that created that spring. All right. So I would, just like Victor said, I would need us to break above that to confirm the bullishness. Okay. But I mean, I'll show you where we got in. Um, or I say I got in. Did you get in on it, Victor?
The spring?
No. Well, not yet. The supposed spring that we got into.
No, no,
No. Yeah.
no.
So this was the only move, right? This was the only move. Hold on.
There were only 2 trades that were made available on UCAT, and none of them were
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. So this was the move. So when we looked at it, hold on, let me get. Okay. So where is the chart that shows? All right. So anyway, there's a 1-minute candle in here. So this was originally where we believed we were looking at reaccumulation, right? The 1-minute candle was right in here. It was the last down candle before price broke this previous lower high.
And
Okay.
that's the perfect example of it.
Yeah.
What we were just talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So the 1-minute candle is where we took it off of. It was a relatively tight stop. It was like 5.5, 6.5 pips. And then we were able to jump across the creek, right? We were able to jump across the creek. Now, within that 1-minute candle, this is what it looked like, right? It looked like this right here. Okay. So coming into it, right? Coming into that move into the 1-minute candle, we clearly have accumulation here, right? This is accumulation that you could have got in. I personally wouldn't have of caught this because this happened at 4:30 in the morning my time. All right. But when you're looking at structure, right, as you're coming in and you see this nice compression of price, right, our low, our high, wait, make a low, a high, this is even, obviously, as you're coming in, you're just looking at structure, made a low. So for me, I personally would have probably waited for us to break that. So I wouldn't have been filled, right? I mean, we're talking like half of a pip, but I wouldn't have been filled. Where I looked to get into this was simply this. We had equal lows, right? We had equal lows, and the market came down and took these lows right here, right? Took these lows and then immediately broke our structure, right? Because this is now the previous lower high, or even if you want to, if when you're looking at it, right, this is the high, this is your lower. Yeah. So there you go. So this is the structure point that was key. And once we broke that, the play was very simple. The play was off of whether you took it off the 1-minute or that 2-minute, these two together. Either way, it doesn't matter. This was 1.9 pips. If you add that, it was probably like 2.5, and then so that was the play that I caught. And then you can see immediately, we went off to the races. All right. That's how it played out. All right. And you can see that's where I used breakup structure. Right. I went off of that top because that's where the true high was. That was maintaining structure. Okay.
And how we came into that entry as well. This is
key.
something is key. Like we get really nice compression. You can clearly see an accumulation taking place, not the cleanest. And then what we do is we tap in right here, and we tap into our point of interest. So equal lows, tap in, like there's liquidity here, a little bit of liquidity here. It's how we came into that was so key. That this compression in here is what gives you confidence to put a limit order on a 1.5 pip stop loss.
Yeah. Yep. And then this price action right here is what I like to see. Right? How we are just literally walking ourselves up, and then eventually we get the explosion, right? That at that point, so this is just money just being hedged up, down, up, down, up, down, until finally they're able to put in a big size, right? Because all of this is them just trying to manipulate the, that's a trader putting in their prices into the computer and the algorithm, trying to figure out how to fill all their orders, and then eventually they're able to grab it and just run with it. Okay, so that's what I like to see. All right. What do we see now for UCAD? I'll be honest. UCAD, I am personally looking at it like this right now. So I am, hold on. I
I'm
am,
waiting.
yeah, I'm waiting. And where, hold on, I have it on another chart. Hold on. USD CAD. Let's see.
And
Maybe I
by the
put,
way, the buys on UCAD right now are massively counter trend.
yeah, yeah, we're
So
bearish.
everybody,
We're bearish like a mofo.
yeah, but UCAD needs a retracement and we're trying to catch it.
Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you what. So I was looking. Oh wait, you know what? Maybe because I'm on the 4 hour. Okay, there we go. So this is how I see it, right? And you can see, look, I was looking to sell it from this 15-minute point of interest right here. That's where I was looking to sell it, and you could see we can just freaking short, right?
Yeah.
And you can see we're just selling off. I was looking, so I had this 5-minute, 15-minute point of interest that I was looking at, and you can see we've just dug right into it. And if this is going to maintain a reaccumulation, this is what I wanted to see, right? I wanted to see us come down, and I mean the current price action that we're seeing, at least it's
It's
slowly,
compressing.
right? This is what I want to see, right? You can see how you can almost start to box off and call preliminary support, preliminary support, preliminary support, and I would be curious to see if we can catch an accumulation in here relatively soon, you know. But obviously, like, this is ugly, right? I would never try to uh, uh, um, account this as accumulation, right? This is just ugly. I would need to see something more definitive that the market wants to accumulate. So like right now, this is nothing that I want to see, but I'll wait for those, those first preliminary supports, and then wait for that change of character. If this was a preliminary support, obviously when we came down here and then we did this, no, I move on, So whether you want to stay on like the 5-minute and see, if you can find something on the 5 or the 1 minute, that's what I would do. But I'll tell you, I am going to try and catch a buy on it, so that I can turn around and sell it. Um, and obviously now we know that this right here is the lower high that is maintaining our structure. So obviously where I'm going to be looking is probably up in here somewhere, to sell it from. Okay. Um, but that's pretty much all I have on UCAD right now. Not really. Let's see, what is this? Can you look at this, please? What is this? ACAD. Yeah, I'll be honest. Um, I've given ACAD the good old try. All right. I've gotten four break evens on ACAD this week. I gave it a shot. I even tried again. Look, I was trying to see if we were going to do it again on this 5-minute. Um, I am torn because I want us to get down here, right? I am torn because I want us to get down here, or I want us to get up to this. So at this point, I'm just going to let it play to one of those, and then I'm going to do I'm going to wait until we get to those 2 points of interest. All right. So when we get up into this candle right here, I'll figure out what I want to do. Obviously, I'm going to look to sell it. And then obviously when we get down into this candle right here, right, that took liquidity, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do then. All right. But until we get there, I'm done. Like I caught this distribution. We took it down, I took some profits, but break even. I caught this here, took it down and didn't take any profits, and then got a break even. So I gave it a bunch of tries. Like I said, it was at least 4 or 5 different entries that were break even. So
Mike, you know where the delete button is, right?
Yeah, I know. So
Yeah,
like
okay.
I always say, when things aren't going your way like that, you come over to the right side of your screen and you just where ACAT is, you see that X, like you just click the X button, right? You just click the X button and you move on because it's just going to drive you crazy. All right. So ACAT, I'll look, like I said, I got my alerts. Actually, let me move my alert a little higher. I got my alert there and I got my alert down here. So I will look at ACAD when she gets into an area that I know for sure she's going to move. And this just goes to show you, like, I mean, I even make mistakes sometimes. Like I'm trying to sell it in the middle of 2 points of
Nowhere.
interest. You know what I mean? I'm trying to sell it from 2 points of interest. So, and at the end of the day, what did this turn into? This was just a huge reaccumulation, right? We jumped the creek. We tested out of this right here. We went off to the races.
Did you
We
get to buy?
well, I did buy it. Like, so, I mean, I could show you, there was some really good, I bought all this. This was reaccumulation, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you could see that. I
Yeah, yeah,
bought
yeah.
that. I bought in here, right? I bought that up. And then I even bought here to take this up. Um, and then this is where I caught my sell, right? I caught my sell from here to take it down.
Yeah,
So, I
yeah.
mean, I'm not going to say ACAD was bad to me, but obviously here I knew we were going up. And then I tried to take it down here, and we just didn't work out very well. But ACAD did do some really good stuff for me. But right now we're just in the middle of no man's land, and I'm not going to play around with it. How's XRP looking? Still longing or starting to pull back? Honestly, I don't know. I'm personally not going to leverage trade crypto right now because it's like yeah, it is what it is. Like when you get a schematic like that, yeah, I'm not leverage trading it yet. It's to me, there's nothing, not like I mean, unless I can find a distro on small time frame, I'll take it. But right now, this is just chop. All right. Uh, yeah, but it means the banks mitigate your liquidity. Absolutely. Yeah. So, all right. Now, real quick. So, yeah, because I don't want to take everybody's time up. So that was we talked about GN. The other thing that I was looking at, I don't remember if I had anything on GU. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I do have something on GU. And I don't know if you have this, Victor, right? So this
You've been
3 minute.
tough.
Yeah, well, this is it. I'm not playing around. For me, the buys aren't worth it right now, even though we're bullish as crap. The buys aren't worth it because I just want to see this 3 minute candle, right? This 3 minute candle. And if you think about it, right, this was, like on the smaller time frame, this was structure. We broke structure, we came back, we mitigated out of, whether you want to call that the 5 minute or whatever, like we mitigated out of this
Yeah.
candle. So this right here is the line in the sand, right? This is the OK Corral. And this is the 3 minute candle that last up that mitigated out of this, right? So this is, this is
Well,
it.
that looks like that was the
Yes.
buy that caused the entire drop.
This, right.
That
Yeah.
was it. Yeah, that's
So
the area.
exactly. So if you guys can see that and understand it. So for me, you could see my alert. I got my alert right there. And as we trade up into it, right? Again,
Okay.
small
So
time
I
frame.
have I have the area marked out as well for district, like just looking at price. I just have watch price action when it
Yeah.
gets in there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
basically it.
So that's what I'm looking at. All right. I'm not interested in trying to buy this, right? Because we're only talking 20, 25 pips, right? I'm not interested in trying to buy it. I'm not interested in selling from here. All right. For me, this is it, right? X, like X marks the spot. X marks the spot. That's it right there. I want to see, what we do in there. All right. And it just makes sense, right? It makes sense for that location because, like, if you heard like the explanation that Victor gave, this is, hold on, I just want to clean it up. I'm a little OCD about my charts. If you understand what the market is doing, right? We broke structure, right? We broke structure. This mitigated out of that last up candle. As we came down, we came up and mitigated out of that candle. And then this candle, this 3 minute candle is what is causing, or what was the driving force for this move right down here, right? This move, bam. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for them to come up and mitigate out of that position. And ideally, what I'd love to do is catch a very small time frame a distribution schematic where the UTAD or the upthrust tags that. We break structure, mitigate my entries off that mitigation, off the test or the LPSY, and then I'm taking it down. All right. And realistically, I mean, wishful thinking and all, but there are tremendous areas of liquidity. And my focus is this candle right here, right? This candle right here that took liquidity and then we took up. So when we look at it, right? I mean, we're talking realistically, we are talking from that point to that point about 192 pips. And if I can get into something that's like a 5, 6, 7 pip stop loss, the R to R on it is phenomenal. All right. I know you can't go much lower, but would you be only looking at lower time frame, or the schematic occurred on the same time frame is still valid? What do you mean? Be looking at a lower time, like if there's a schematic on the 15-minute. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll take a schematic on the 15-minute, but I'll tell you right now, there's no way we're going to see a schematic on the 15-minute here, if that makes sense in your distro box. No, I mean, like I'm not looking for a schematic here, if that's what you mean. Like it has to be up near this 3-minute candle, right? Whether it's the 3-minute, I mean, you could see the 15-minute candle here. It's got to be in this area, right? It's got to be in this, if I want to put it, like it's got to be in that 9 pip range. All right. In this area here is where I got to look. So, and obviously I want to see us go above this right here, because if this price action here mitigated out of that, then my bias is completely wrong. We've already mitigated out of this, and there's nothing holding us from going higher. Okay, if that makes sense. If this price action here mitigated out of this candle, then there's no reason to stay here, and we're coming for 2019 highs. All right. But as of right now, I mean, I would like to go higher, but I think, my bias is they're in drawdown here. We've got a lot of liquidity here and a lot of inefficient price action that needs to come back and mitigate out of it. All right. So that's what I'm looking for GU. That's GU. What do I have on NU? Anything? No. NU is nothing. That sucked. I really wanted that. That sucked. The only other thing I do have is on U30, right? I mean, it's not the cleanest that I'd like. I would have liked a preliminary supply. Yeah, I would have liked a preliminary supply first, but I mean, you could see we've got our upthrust here, so I'm just going to let this play out. Maybe New Year we can get some sells to come all the way down. All right. What did I have on? No, nothing on NJ. I mean, I was potentially looking at buys, but we got to come lower, right? We got to come lower. Yeah. So UChef is the big one I'm watching. For UJ, I mean, we've got to come all the way down here for UJ. Thoughts on the Dixie? Oh, hold on, and then gold, right? So, oh my God, I'm gonna kill gold. All right, so real quick, man, I'm gonna kill gold. Let me walk you through what we were looking at today.
Dude, gold does this every time, and then what we're gonna get is a wick down that's gonna be faster than a speeding train.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, I just may put like a 0.1% down and see if I can catch one of those 400 pip candles, So real quick, I'll run you through this, right? So I talked about this before. This is comparative analysis, and then this is relative strength analysis comparison, right? So the comparing assets are gold and silver, right? We can see that silver is making a higher high, gold is making a lower low. So we obviously want to trade gold, right? Because it's giving us that prediction that we're at the low end of the market. If we were at the high end of the market, we would want to sell the laggard. In this case, we want to buy the laggard. All right. And then you can see on the RSI, this is the only thing I use the RSI for, right? Relative strength comparison. You can see we're printing higher highs, but gold is printing lower lows. All right. So all that's telling me is that a change is coming, right? A change is coming. So you can see 15-minute chart. This is gold, right? A change is coming. So this is what I was looking at, right? Well, actually, both me and Victor were looking at it. We found this really nice, and this is beautiful. This is what I want to see coming into a point of interest, right? I don't have the screenshot yet. I mean, I'll show you, but you'll see in this area, like right here, is a H4 imbalance, and then I think like literally right here is it's right around 1800 is a daily candle, right? A daily or a weekly? What was it? A daily, right? Uh-oh. Did I lose you? Hold on. You guys still there? Oh, daily? Perfect. All right. Good, good, good. I had the unstable internet real quick. All right. So this is what I want to see. So this is a preliminary support. All of these are preliminary supports, right? Originally, I was looking at this for potential accumulation, but you can see we're just trading lower. So all I do is I just keep moving my box down, right? Just keep moving and box down until you get the confirmation. So preliminary support, our first, now realistically this could have been our first change of character. You could have said that this was the SC, and then this is just a secondary test, secondary test, secondary test, secondary test in B that trades below. And then as we're following structure, right, if this was the high, we made a new low, we made a high, we made a new low, we made a high. Now this is our spring. This is what holds structure right here. This is structure. So for my confirmations, right, one of my confirmations is I need that break of structure. So price breaks structure right here, right? We break a structure. I went off of the 1 minute candle, right, is obviously right here. And then the 3 minute candle is all of this. And it's the 1 minute and the 3 minute 50% are the same number. So X marks the spot. That's where it was. It was a 20 pip stop loss, which on gold is, I'll take a 20 pip stop loss on gold any day. Most people are using 100 pip, 120 pip stop losses. All right. And you can see this was almost a 30-1 just to my first targets. All right. And obviously, gold decided that it didn't want to play nice. Um, Hold on. Yeah. So you can see, let's go to the 1 minute. And it just was time of day. This happened. We started tracking this. I think I sent it out in the group around like 11:30 or 12 o'clock. Yeah, it was right around 11 o'clock in the morning. And you can see, here's the price action, right? We came in so close. We came in a second time, a third time. So we have equal lows here. We even came in almost towards the end of the day, and then we've just kind of just been playing its own thing up and going higher. So I'll tell you, I'm personally probably just going to put a limit order in on that 1 minute and let it ride. And let it ride. Really light risk, because I'll tell you right now, even where price is currently, if I would have, like, where price is at right now, just based off this entry, I would be up almost a 4-1, right? I'd be up almost a 4-1. Um, and I've got higher targets. I mean, you could see where I want to take it up to this 30-minute open right here. All right, off the 30-minute. That's ideally where I'd like to take the first spot, because it makes sense, right? It makes sense, and obviously if we can get up here. Um, but yeah, it's one of those things. If you want, go back and look at gold and take a look. You can see how I marked it up, how I was looking at it. But this is what I want to see coming into an accumulation, how we are just nicely trading and compressing price. And ultimately, what we want to see after that compression is just the blast off, right? I want to see us get behind some orders and we're off to the races. All right. Yeah, daily, 4 hour, not weekly. Okay, perfect. Is the main confirmation for an SC or BC a break of structure? So yeah, it's a change of character, right? So the way you want to look at it is, and the analogy I use, like if you're driving a car and you come to a stop sign, all right, you obviously just don't slam on your brakes at the stop sign, right? You start braking as you're coming to the stop sign, and that's what that change of character is doing. It's stopping the momentum of the sell-off. Okay, so you can see, like, ideally this potentially could have been your first change of character, but then we really didn't accumulate there. All right. These are all change of characters, but we just kept falling down. This here, right? This here, I would probably, if I were going to redo it, I was just typing, I was doing it so quickly that, I really didn't care where this was at, but ideally this is probably where I would have put it. Okay. Like that. Um, but I was just doing it very quickly just to try to mark it up and get it out. Most of the time, like when I'm trading, I wonder if it's on this one. Most of the time when I'm trading, if I'm not trying to give my chart to anybody, um, I typically don't even mark it like here. So you can see what I was doing here. I was seeing if this was possibly going to be some accumulation on the 5 minute, but I literally will just find my structure, right? I'll just mark my structure real quick so I can see where structure is at. And then when we get the spring, I know that we have to break this. So on that confirmation, I know I'm taking that and my entry, my risk, and then I find where my first take profits are, and then I put my position in. All right. It's very quick like that because sometimes you only have 5-6 minutes, and then you have to figure out what your lot size is. You have to put your order in on MT4, so it's often very quick. Um, okay, so that's gold. I mean, that's really all I'm looking at. It's not a lot that I'm looking at right now, but I think, like I said, it's a short week anyway for me. The holidays coming up. Um, I know someone mentioned Euro GBP. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at Euro GBP all week. Um, like I caught all these sells up here. That's honestly, this is the last time. Okay, yeah, this is the last time I marked up. I'm looking for a sell up here if we get up there. Which if we leave these equal lows, which I would like, I want to see us trade up here. And obviously if there's some accumulation in here that can be caught, I would try to take the accumulation up, but this is my sell area right up here. All right. Anywhere from this 5 minute into this gaggle of price, that's where I want to look for a sell. All right. And then obviously, yeah, I'm targeting these equal lows. I'm targeting this weekly imbalance, here. All right. I'm looking for all that. But that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all I
Right.
got. Yeah, go
We're
ahead.
also go back to the larger time frame because I mean I'm sure you know this.
Oh,
Yeah, we are in a distribution.
no,
I
no, no.
mean,
Hold on,
this
hold on,
is
hold on, hold on. Let me make it pretty for you, bro. Let me make it pretty for you.
yeah, okay.
Hold on, hold on. There we go.
There you go. Okay.
Let me make it pretty.
Yeah, you
So
might as well make it clear for everybody.
yeah. So just so you guys understand, yeah, we are in a weekly time frame in distribution. So this distribution started in 2016. All right. And it will probably continue for a long time. All right. It will probably continue for a long time. But yeah, it is. There you go. All right. Yeah. So we are in distribution. So I'm expecting, this is why I'm looking for sells, right? It makes sense on the weekly and the daily. We are distributing. Obviously, this is targets for me right in here. All right. Um, Victor, do you have anything that you're specifically looking at that we haven't gone over?
I think I think you covered everything.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I didn't cover was EU, and I'll be honest, like EU, at this point, I want to see us now just trade up to that 4-hour candle. I want to see us into this, into this. I want to see us trade into that now. Because
Yeah, go ahead.
because we're at the point where we've taken this high, so we're no longer in that bearish structure, right? We're no longer in bearish structure, which this on the 4-hour, this was bearish because we took this low. But yeah, at this point, I'm looking up here. I'm looking up here.
It's just massive reaccumulation on EU, and I was looking for another smaller reaccumulation to happen now. I was actually looking for a lower time frame target, or a lower target. Like I wanted this look. Let me see. It's kind of hard to see. Okay, yeah. So you could see once again 3 thrusts up, and then you have your spring. And I was waiting for a shakeout to take that liquidity. That's what I wanted to happen. But
right here.
Yeah.
Yep. We never got it. Trust me. That's where I was looking to sell from here. I wanted to take it down and then set up for the buy. Yep. Set up for the buy.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
But we never got it. We never got it. So it is what it is. Like I said, right now, EU, I'm just going to let it play out. I do have this 4-hour. Where the heck is it? I do have this 4-hour way up here. if it presents itself for a buy, but I need to see at this point, I would need to see a reaccumulation schematic. That's the only way I'm buying. You
Do
know,
you have the higher time frame marked out for everybody to see?
yeah, hold on. Let's see.
Should go to like
Hold on. Let me just see
go.
give me a sec here. Hold on. Let me
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to Euro USD. Let me see which one I did it on.
That would have been awesome. What I
Oh,
just saw.
this right
That's
here,
what I was waiting for that to happen.
this right
We
here,
didn't. Yeah.
this right here.
This
Trust me.
distribution, man. God.
Trust me.
Oh my God.
Trust me, man. All
I
right,
think
let's
everybody
see.
was waiting for it to cut distribute lower.
Okay, so this is
Yeah, basically.
potentially what I was looking at, right? Because we obviously distributed here, which then turned into reaccumulation. And then on the 1 hour, this was all, or I'm sorry, here. I think one of these, either here or here was yeah, right here. So this was all reaccumulation as well on a 1 hour. So, but
Yep.
that's obviously how it looked, coming up. So that's why I think we're going higher. I want to see us trade at least into this imbalance to this 4 hour. And this 4 hour is going to see what we do, you know, this 4
It's
hours
the,
is going to see what we do.
it's the last point in the distro before this thing
Yep.
goes higher.
Yeah. This is the Alamo, right? That 4 hour candle is the Alamo. Obviously, if we take this high, yeah, to the moon it is, man. So
If
yeah,
it wants to go higher.
I mean, if you look at it, yeah, absolutely, it wants to go. So we'll play it out. We'll play it out. Is there any questions? Anything real quick? Is the main confirmation? Yeah, okay. So I went over that. Any questions? I know we threw out a bunch of stuff, but this is honestly like how when me and Victor are looking at charts, this is honestly like how we do it. We kind of just go through some pairs, find again the one thing I'll tell you, the key to everything is structure. If you can and listen, I get structure wrong all the time. When I take a loss, chances like 90% of the time when I go back and find out why I took the loss, it's structure. All right. So, and it's very, it's subjective, right? It's hard sometimes like to sit there and determine whether or not you are bearish or bullish on that time frame, because sometimes it just gets a little wishy-washy. So awesome. That works, man. So, all right. Well, with that said, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to get up probably around like 5:30 again and see what's going on in the morning. See if I can catch that one or two moves and be good. Which time frame is the best to determine actual structure? So, you know, I mean, I don't know what you mean by actual structure, but I'll tell you right now, like I do a top down. So this is something that actually I got from Victor, right? When I look at a pair and if I haven't looked at a pair in a while, I'll come here and I will do my top down from the weekly. I mean, you can go to the monthly. It's just, like sometimes when you're looking at a monthly, you'll be bearish since like 1975, So I go from the weekly and I just work my way down. And then depending on where we are in a schematic, so like, just to give you an example, right? I am looking at like odd NZD, right? Odd NZD on a weekly time frame. We are in accumulation, right? We are in accumulation. So obviously you can see I had two scenarios. Scenario two is not playing out, right? But the blue scenario one is, so I'm expecting us to come down and create a spring. So as I go down in the time frames, I will be looking for some more bearish momentum, right? Any distributions, any signs of distribution, I will be looking to sell, and then redistribution looking to sell. All right. So
Mike,
that's, yeah, go
can
ahead.
I add something on structure?
Yeah, go ahead.
So just so everybody understands, so let's just say, Mike, add that little window, that weekly, daily, 4 hour.
Bam.
Okay, just fill it in. So let's just say hypothetically, weekly bearish. right? Yeah. So let's just say, okay, so let's say we're weekly, we're bear. Daily, bearish. 4 hour, bullish. Okay. 1 hour, let's just say we are bearish, and we don't need 15 minute. We just 15 minute is for more for entries, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So just think about it, right? Let's say we're looking. So we know weekly bear, we know daily bear, we know H4 is bull, and we know H1 is bear. Automatically, if H4 is bull and weekly and daily is bear, we're likely in a pullback.
Yes.
So all we need to do is wait for H4 to turn bear. H1 is bear at that point, and we can start looking for entries on the 15-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute,
And we
right?
can look for entries for long-term hold. Those aren't the
Yes,
30, 35 pip moves that you would catch. Those are the moves that those are the ones that you can catch like 1 to 75 ROIs, because you're getting on a 10, a 5 or a 10 pip stop loss, and they're going for 200 pips, right? Because you're going with
exactly,
structure. So
exactly.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so having that is, to
Right.
me, it's been instrumental.
Yes. Yep. And it saves you. I'll be honest. It also saves you from taking unnecessary risk in the market, right? So like, just hypothetically, like we said, if they're bearish, and even sometimes like I won't pay attention to it until and this is why I have to do this, right? On every time I go to look at something, for the first time, I have to put up this, because if I start to see bear, and on the H4 is bear, but we're bullish on the H1 and I'm looking for buys, I'm like, no, you know what? I'll just sit it out and wait, and if I have to wait 2 weeks, I'll wait 2 weeks, because I know there's no sense in me trying to catch these 20 pip moves, um, and putting so much risk and so much risk and so much risk, when I can just wait 2 weeks and then be in one trade and catch, you know, a 60 to 1, right? Where I could have taken 15 trades to get the 60 to 1, you know? So yeah.
And another way to look at it, because I could see some people asking questions. H1 be a pullback on H4? Well, this is where you have to know the difference between structure and order flow. Structure is our higher highs and higher lows. Order flow is the internal structure of the higher time frame. So essentially, if we're bearish on H4 and H1 is having a bullish pullback, we're waiting for order flow to change bearish in H1, knowing that H4 is bearish. I hope everybody caught that. For us to look for sells, because we are in line with higher time frame structure. So there's structure, which is going to be your overall leg, and then there's going to be order flow, which is going to be maybe a complex pullback, right? So you really want to be aware where you are inside the hard time frame and inside which leg you're in. That's going to make your trading life a lot easier, because you're not going to take unnecessary, like, I see a 15-minute accumulation and I'm just going to assume that this is going to be the holy grail of the next 500 pip push up. It
Yeah.
doesn't work like that.
No, and that's key. So like, I'm not saying I don't take counter trend trades, because I do,
Which
but I have realistic targets, so like,
exactly,
if we're bearish on odd NZD on all the time frames, right? And all I'm doing is catching the accumulation for the pullback, right? I don't mind taking a buy for a short-term move, like maybe like a 30, 40, 50 pip, whatever it takes, so that I can turn around and get into a sell off of the pullback, and
yeah,
then sell it down. So that's where, honestly, understanding the structure and the order flow, and then understanding how to hedge, allows you to trade both sides of the market. And
exactly.
by no means am I an expert at it, because I'm not. Like, I'll out of 5 times I try to do it, I might only be successful once, right? But that's where risk management is key. If I'm only risking 0.5% per trade, and I'm wrong 4 times, but the fifth one I get it, and I hit a 1 to 37, guess what? It blows the 4 losses out of the water. you know. So as I get better at it, obviously, you know, the winning percentage is going to go higher on trying to do it, you know. But it's difficult to do it. So, you know, understand what the structure is doing, the order flow is doing, and then just trade it accordingly, you know.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but awesome. Well, listen, guys, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It is 9. I'm gonna go get some dessert and watch some TV with my family. So thank you for hopping on. Enjoy. And Victor, man, thanks, dude. I'll hit you up in the morning.
Yeah, man. We'll talk in the morning.
All right. Everyone
Thanks, everybody.
enjoy.
Yeah. Take care, guys.